Ciao, benvenuti, and welcome to Move to Italy Now. You're probably wondering, what's that old guy doing there? We want to see Gia. Well, I understand. However, Gia has been working overtime now lately for the retreat that she's putting on here next month. And, well, frankly, she's a little burned out right now. So she sends you her warmest greetings and wanted to let you know that she'll see you next week. Gia was a behavioral therapist, and she also works with a number of modalities, one of them being sound healing. And so this retreat she's putting on is very unique, very special, and very diverse. In fact, it was booked a year ago, and she's already starting to take a list of people for next, probably late September next year, too. At any rate, today we're going to take you up into the countryside of Mistretta, a beautiful little town up in the mountains. And it is not too far from us, but it is in a really wonderful location because it's close to towns that have plenty of shopping, even hospital and so on. But in this countryside, I think you'll be able to appreciate the serenity and the opportunity that presents itself with this wonderful country home. In fact, we're actually going to be looking at a little hamlet of buildings. There are 3 structures on this property. And, well, I think you're going to like what you see. Take a look. Well, out in the countryside of Mistretta, here we are to visit a bit of a project, but in fact, a wonderful opportunity. We're going to call this Casa Franco. And you saw Franco open up the gate as we entered the property. This is a large house. It's 180 square meters, and it's also on 5.5 hectares of land. There's your Mistretta right there. So we're about 10 minutes outside of the town of Mistretta, and I'm happy to say that it's good road. So we're going to enter here through these double doors, although there are a couple options here. And we immediately come to a vestibule with stairs, but off to the right is the kitchen eating area. Now, this home has a couple issues that need to be addressed, and we will talk about the cost and expense in addressing these issues. But for right now, you've got a fully working kitchen with gas cooktop, and it is in great shape. You just don't really need to do anything with that. But another feature of this kitchen and eating area, and by the way, I would open up some of these walls. These are not bearing walls here. I'd open them up for more light, for a more spacious feel. But you've got a really nice working wood fireplace. Now, in the country, you encounter that more often in the older homes. Although this home was built in the 80s, it still has a fireplace. Why is that so practical? Because with 5.5 hectares of land, you've got lots of firewood, an unlimited supply. So in here, this could easily be turned into a half bath or storage closet back in here, storage deep, and then of course a coat closet here. But I'm going to take you further into the next room, which was, this home was kind of followed the design of those old palazzi, where you went from room to room to room. The furniture is included here. This can easily be negotiated into the contract. Another large room. Now these rooms aren't spoken for. Nobody said what they were used for as far as bedrooms or dining rooms or anything. So there's lots and lots of options. This is like one big concrete box. Now, there is an issue to be dealt with, and I'm going to mention it now. You'll see some cracks up above, and this has to be addressed. There was some rusting of the structural steel inside the reinforced concrete beams, and that had to be completely addressed. Cement work, replastering, all of that. This home, again, typically what you see is they'll say, oh, well, it's ready to move into. This is not ready to move into, and it's going to require some work, but we'll lay that out for you so you get a good idea. So 180 square meters, we just covered half of that, which would be 90 square meters, and it's really only in 3 rooms plus this foyer. Just nice, fewer but bigger rooms. Now look at these stairs. The ironwork is great. The stairs are all out of Carrara marble and in near perfect shape. There is a window up here which we didn't bother to open, but it'd be great for lighting up this space. Really, really nice. I wouldn't put shutters over it, that's for sure. All of the windows and doors need to be replaced. Absolutely do, to be brought up to current energy code, as well as, frankly, to get them to function properly, because we had some trouble opening up some of these. But here's your bathroom. It's in virtually new shape. This house hasn't been lived in many years, but I just want you to see this view. So just think about this. Just picture a throne with a view. And that's all I'm going to say. I'm leaving it at that. And there's your view of Mistretta. The sea is off to the right. You can't see it from here, however. We are facing west right now. But all you've got is a tiny little shower. What I would do for a home this size, I would add 2 more bathrooms, and we will discuss that later when we go downstairs. So directly above that kitchen eating area is another room with the double doors, and here you start to see that issue with the reinforced concrete beam. This all has to be taken out, the iron treated, and redone. This is not going to be a problem structurally. It just needs to be addressed, and it needs to be addressed first thing. So don't let it scare you. Those of you who are in the construction trades know that this is something that can be handled. The home was built in the 80s, so this problem has not been existing for such a long time that the structural iron is no longer any good. That's not going to be a problem. But again, here you see the size of the room. Again, you have the double doors out onto a very shallow balcony, but a balcony it is nonetheless. The roof system over this veranda is great and frankly could be extended. There's your grapevines there. Obviously, you're going to take out this olive here and some of these other trees that are blocking your gorgeous view and extend the cover. This is the west side, so you're going to really be glad that you have this shade cover here, and it could go out further. So back into the first room upstairs and into the hallway. Remember the stairs on the right and the bathroom on the left. Here we are in another large room. So you've got a lot of options here because it's just a big concrete box. This reminds me a lot of Pagliarazzi when we purchased that villa. And that villa was more than twice this size. But it's really nice to see that you've got options here. You can completely redesign this home if you wanted. Yeah, really large rooms. I mean, I'm talking about 250 square feet each of these rooms at least 275 maybe. Again, you're back onto your long balcony here. There's so much going on this land. But not having been inhabited for years, the grounds have not been maintained. Now, it's nowhere near as bad a condition as what we encountered when we purchased Pagliarazzi. However, all of the trees will need some attention. The olive trees are in very good shape, so they can certainly be saved. I have no doubt about that whatsoever. So really, not a lot of rooms, lots of space, and not enough bathrooms. But I would say definitely a minimum of 3 bathrooms in this property. Now, there's your double doors into this room that we were just in. See, we came through here. And again, just huge rooms, huge rooms. You could really redesign this easily enough. And here's your little outdoor kitchen area with a working forno a legno, pizza oven, and lots of firewood. And here's a table that they made. It's just stone legs with a huge 1.5 inch thick piece of Carrara marble, and that's not getting moved anytime soon. Now I'm about to take you on a tour of this medieval stone home that is on the property, of course, just a few paces away from the main house. But first I want to show you this pavement here. Notice this old stone pavement, and it's done in a pattern so typical of the ancient Sicilians. Now, mind you, this is centuries old, but you see the pattern here. See that? It's in kind of boxes, square boxes. They did it all with stones. And now the owner's been keeping his dogs in here. This is their yard. This is their run. So I will very carefully walk along here and show you the main entrance to this 3-room stone casetta, or small house. We're going to enter the main entrance here, or the main room. They're not connected inside. I just wanted you to see this entrance. And so now we enter. First, we look at the original tile floor that is, frankly, many centuries old. This room is not big, but take a look at the characteristics here. This may have been used just for storage, but you still got the old chestnut beams, and the floor, the ceiling had been repaired. This is in good shape, and I want to tell you now so I don't forget, the roof has been redone several years ago, so it is in very good shape. And as you'll see here, there's less of an issue with water intrusion inside this ancient home than you might find in so many others that are actually being lived in currently. We're going to go next door to the room, and this is quite an obstacle course here. So I'm going to walk carefully while watching my step and take you into this other room, because there are some little surprises in here that I think you're going to appreciate. This is the cistern right now. It's not permanent, but it holds water from a mountain spring. These, by the way, are all their nets that they use for collecting the olives from the many olive trees here on the property. As you know, olive oil is a mainstay here in the Mediterranean. But there is a live spring, and this pump pumps it out of that spring and into this cistern here, which certainly can be moved. That's not a big deal. But by the way, from this home, just take a look at your view out here. Imagine if these doors were just made, just glass, solid floor to ceiling glass. This view would be magnificent once this landscape is cleaned up. And next we'll take you into the third room with a couple nice surprises. And here is the third room. Now, again, they're not connected from the inside, and I'm sure that's something you would want to do, but this isn't a major project to make this happen. Of course, you've got to bring in electric and plumbing and all these things. This is a medieval house. Just look at the thickness of these stone walls here. But I wanted you to see this. This is the way they would have stored their kitchen utensils in here. And this old oven, the seller says that his father, who was born in 1912, he used to use this regularly to make bread in this wood-burning oven. Now, here's evidence of the roof being redone. So that's one expense, one large expense that you don't need to be concerned about. I don't see a water intrusion problem coming from these walls. So with the ceiling that you're going to do from both inside and outside, a good roof, this is a good solid structure as a project for a guest house, B&B, rental, or an extension to your house. You could turn this into your little home office or whatever you like, but lots and lots of potential. Now there is one more surprise, and this is the medieval palmetto. This is where they would stand in the tank, crush the grapes, and make the wine. And this is also included in the purchase of this. However, there is one more thing. I can't say he's included, but there he is. Well, what did you think? Would you say that's your vision of your Italian dream home once finished? Perhaps, huh? I wanted to bring you up to date on a couple things here. First of all, since the shooting of that tour, the seller has taken it upon himself to have a muratore come in and handle that whole problem with the stress cracks. They treated the rust and then went over cementitious overcoat as well as the plaster. So if you are interested, you do end up making an offer on it. I'll go back up there and shoot it and show you what's been done. Another thing that you need to know is that when we state a price on our videos, it's a stated price only, and often because we're asked to ask that price by the sellers. However, I negotiate deals and I negotiate them very aggressively, so you likely will not be paying those prices. If this is something that interests you or any of our properties that we've featured, if they're still available, by all means reach out through email and let us know about your level of interest, and then what we will do is negotiate in your behalf to get the very best possible price. Now, these are wholesale deals. They're not retail. So rather than paying someone 200 euros to come in and clean the house, rather what we would do is show it as it is, and you get it at a wholesale price because of its condition, and save 20,000. So do the math. It just makes sense to do it this way. This is the way investors think. It does take some vision. So at any rate, we will represent you on this one or any other properties that you may have seen that you really would like. Let's see, is there anything else I can tell you about? Not that I can think of right now, other than we will both be here to see you next week, and we send you our very best. Don't hesitate, please, to subscribe and like and push the notification button. We do very much appreciate our loyal viewers. And again, greetings from Gia as well. Ciao for now. Meeting with the sellers of one small house.
You have to be your biggest fan. And when things are really tough and they're really rough and nothing's working, but there's something inside of you that says, I just have to follow that. Because you don't know who you're going to be, who you're going to be, who you're going to be.